Why can't I just get rid of this? Jeffrey says whilst he's pinching his lower belly fat. Come on, I'm on a calorie deficit. Why won't it go away? I've been going to the gym every single day, twice a day for a week now. But look at the rest of Jeffrey's lifestyle. Do you really think he's gonna build his dream body when he lives like this? Adonis. Adonis has sculpted his physique into one of a Greek god, but this didn't happen overnight. It took him years of hard work in the gym, but most importantly, lifestyle optimization. Adonis wakes up after a full night of rest. He jumps out of bed, blasts himself with a cold shower, goes straight into the gym for a grueling workout, overdoses on protein and carbs straight afterwards. He does everything. And just look at that physique. I think I've built a pretty good physique. Here's some good pictures of me. I've been on this journey now for about 8 years. And so whilst I look good, I certainly could have built even more muscle if I did the right things. I wasted years of my training, years of my life with just a couple of mistakes. There is a few mistakes I made which literally has slowed my progress down by years. You want to know what the first major one was? I unfortunately believed, listened, and trusted the fitness YouTubers that were around at the time. I saw these dickheads, and you probably see them as well, who are telling you not to bulk, and instead they're telling you to do what's called main gaining. Main gain, gaintenance, whatever the fuck. Who is it who says this shit? It's a really popular YouTuber, like he's like an old bodybuilder. He's got like an anabolic diet. We'll have a picture of him up on the screen. I don't watch his video. I'm not even trying to disrespect him. I genuinely don't remember his name or anything. I don't watch fitness YouTube videos. But there's people out there right now that for a long time have been telling young men not to bulk. I think Kino Body says this, you know, like these fucking like fitness influencers essentially tell you not to bulk, not to gain weight, not to get stronger. You know, they say this bullshit of like how to gain muscle and lose fat at the same time. They say this and it's such a fucking scam, and I believed it.
It's funny for us, it's not for you.
And it took me years to realize that I was scammed by these guys. You want to know the tip, bro? The single most important thing for you to do to build muscle, it's not to main gain, it's not to do this shit. You know what it is? Bulk. The single most important thing for you to do is to bulk. And especially if you are currently right now not the body weight that you want to be. So let's say you started like me and you started like a skinny guy. I started at 140 pounds, right? Or even 130, right? 130 pounds, and I was cutting or eating at maintenance volume because these dickheads were telling me you'll gain muscle and lose fat at the same time. You know what I realize now? If you have a low body weight, you need to bulk because you need to up the body weight to become like a man of respectable size and strength and mass. So if right now you are at a body weight that doesn't seem respectable, and what I would say respectable for a man, at least above 180 pounds. Now, yeah, this can change, but generally, if you're like an average height guy, like 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", you should aim for like 180, which is way heavier than most people would actually get to. And if you're taller, like I am, I'm 6'1" and about 190 pounds. I want to go up to like 220, 230, 240 pounds. You want to be thick as a guy. Now, certainly it's nice to be like shredded and aesthetic, that's nice. But to look good lean, you need to first bulk up heavy. And this isn't to say that you should dirty bulk or, you know, to eat shit, because that's the second reason why I didn't gain much muscle, because I ate a lot of shit during my bulk. That is a major problem. So there is a minefield for you to navigate if you're looking at fitness YouTubers, because there's the dickheads who are telling you to not bulk, don't cut, maintaining, main gaining. And obviously they say this because it gets more likes to tell people like, yo, you'll gain muscle and lose fat at the same time. Whoa. So there's these people. But then on the other hand, there's the hardcore bulk enthusiasts, which you see these dickheads eating Krispy Kreme donuts and telling you, yeah, just get the calories in, bro, just get the calories. So who do you trust? This was my problem. So when I finally escaped from these guys telling me not to bulk and I started to bulk, I started watching the dirty bulkers and thought that it was a really good idea to eat, you know, an extra 500 calories, 1,000 calories, eating shit ice cream, because if it fits your macros, I felt like shit. My lifts didn't even go up. I felt sick and I gained extra body fat. The critique that I have to these dirty bulk guys, which no one has ever said in the fitness industry before, calories are not the same. Even macros are not the same. Protein and protein is not the same. You do realize that people don't ever say this, right? People think that if something has the same macros, it's the same thing. It's not. 30 grams of protein from whey protein will build you more muscle than 30 grams of protein from some bullshit like vegan protein, soy or some shit. It literally has a different impact on your body, even though the macro is still 30 grams. 100 grams of carbs from ice cream compared to 100 grams of carbs from potatoes will change your body composition. You will gain more fat, even if it's the same calories. No one online says this and it pisses me off. All you've got to do is look at one nutritional lecture and you'll know this forever. These simpleton YouTubers don't know this. This is probably the first time you've ever heard someone criticize the calories in, calories out. Any dickhead who I see just said, oh, it's just calories in. I'm just thinking, bro, you don't even know. You've literally not even done a single bit of research on this. You don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. And I'm not even some like clever scientist, but if anyone is telling you to eat a Krispy Kreme donut for 300 calories instead of eating potatoes for 300 calories. And they're telling you that your body's gonna look the same and you will feel the same and you will perform the same. They're scamming you. They're literally scamming you. You know why? Because it gets more clicks. Fucking dickhead bodybuilder like this, and people are clicking on it because it's like, whoa, he gets to eat whatever he wants. Whoa, amazing. They get more views. Because the athlete these days that tells people, oh, look at my diet, I just eat chicken and rice and stuff, that's seen as an eating disorder. The athlete who eats clean is now seen as the guy with an eating disorder. And now the modern day people who just want to go and gain weight, and the amount of like women I see in the fitness industry who are like, I'm gonna gain weight this year, look at me, I'm eating donuts, and all the other girls are like, whoa, my god, guys, whoa, you're so empowering. Stop eating shit. You will feel like shit, you will perform like shit, but you'll get more views on YouTube. That's why they do this. They do this and they ruin their health, and they'll ruin your health because they'll get more money from you. Because being a guy who tells you, yep, eat clean, it's not as sexy. The second reason why you're not making enough muscle, you're eating shit food. When you eat shit food, you gain more body fat. Even if it's the same calories, you gain more body fat, because if you have that ice cream today, your performance in the gym tomorrow is gonna go down. Of course it is. You're gonna feel more lethargic, your insulin's spiking up, you feel tired, you're gonna end up spending more time on the couch after you've ate some shit food. Usually shit food is also coupled heavily with some instant gratification activity. You get the shit food whilst you watch something for an hour and you're sat there not burning any calories, or you're playing some video games and you're eating the shit food coping and saying, oh yeah, 100 grams of carbs. Don't do this to yourself. Eating shit food will not only add to your body fat percentage, but it will also reduce, not increase, reduce your lifts. But that being said, you can still have a treat, but it's important to have a treat, like let's say some dessert. It's important to have that without any coping. After I record another 3 videos today, so I've already recorded 4. Once I record another 3, and I've done 7 videos this morning. I've almost done a week's worth of work at 9 a.m. We're all gonna go celebrate. My friend Sam is here, I've got my girl here. We're gonna go get pancakes after this. I'm not gonna get those pancakes and add it into my fitness plan and be like, oh yeah, sweet, that was 150 grams of carbs. Yes, we're one step closer to our goals. No, I'm getting those pancakes knowing it's gonna add a bit more body fat to me. Of course it is, but it's like a nice treat that I'm gonna allow myself after just beasting out 7 videos in a row. That's okay. But to say that this is part of your goals, don't listen to this shitty advice. The third reason why you're not gaining enough muscle is your testosterone's probably too low. The majority of men have low testosterone levels. Maybe the reason why is because your cortisol hormone is spiked up because you're in, a big state of stress. Maybe you've got trauma and that's like a long-term state of stress. Maybe your job or your studies is really stressful. Maybe it's that you've been under-eating. Maybe it's that you've been eating shit food like sugar and that's been reducing your testosterone. Another point of the previous one, these dickheads who tell you to eat Krispy Kreme donuts and cereal and stuff, and when you eat sugar, it decreases your testosterone. Literally, people don't realize like eating shit food, even if it's the same calories, it will lead to more fat and less muscle because of another issue like reducing your testosterone levels. So you need to figure out what it is for you to increase your testosterone to reverse this. I've done a couple of videos on that which I'll have linked right now. The fourth reason that I can think of whilst you're not gaining enough muscle, you're simply not training hard enough. There's an experiment that you can go and try if you want, and I spoke about this on my second channel. So I have a second YouTube channel if you've not seen it. It's not as big as this one, but I post quite like unfiltered, just videos of me just walking around talking about something that's in my mind. This channel's called Hamza Unfiltered, and there's a video I posted which is where I spoke about doing just 1 set per workout, per exercise. What you're used to is you go to the gym and you do 3 sets of bench press, then you do 3 sets of incline press, then you do this and this and this and this, right? What I realized was that when you do these high volume workouts and you do an exercise for 3 sets or 5 sets, you leave a lot of your intensity in the bag. Like you don't use it because you know that you've got more to give. So there's an experiment that you can go and try to see if you're training hard enough. For just 1 workout, literally just one, just sacrifice 1 workout to see this and it'll help you for the rest of your training career. Go in and just do 1 set per exercise and tell yourself you can only do this 1 set, then you have to move on. Once you tell yourself that, tell yourself to go as hard as you possibly can. I'm not saying, as heavy. Grab like a nice moderate weight and everything, 10 to 15 reps, whatever. Go for the good rep range. And then when it gets tough and you're at failure and you really want to drop the weight because it's painful, keep going. Remind yourself that this is the only set that you have. Keep going. Push through it. There's going to be a time when you really can't push anymore, but you can. You don't realize it. When you get stuck here, what you can do is push literally and try and push it millimeter by millimeter. Every little bit, millimeter by millimeter. Just keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Get the rep, boom. Then go for another rep. Go slow, go slow, go slow. Push, push. You're stuck here. Just push, just push. Literally, you've only got this set. Don't let go. You've literally just got this set. Don't pussy around. You've got this set. Just keep pushing, keep pushing. Don't drop it. You've literally just got this 1 set and you've got to move on. Don't fucking sacrifice it. Keep going, keep going. You're literally there for like 10 seconds. It's fucking painful. This is the worst, most painful set that you've ever had in your entire life. Drop it. That was a 10 out of 10 intensity. And guess what? If you ask yourself, was that 10 out of 10? You'll probably be like, you know what? That was more like 8.5, 9. I probably could have held it for another 10 seconds. Now you know what a 10 out of 10 intensity feels like. Ask yourself then what intensity you're normally training at. Because if that is a 9 and you could have like held it a bit more to make it a 10, that one where you just and you put it down. That's probably like a 6. You're training at a 6 out of 10 intensity. Now, you don't need to get 10 out of 10 all the time because it's very fatiguing, but you do want to get to about 7.5, 8 out of 10 for most sets if you really want to build muscle. Bro, hypertrophy, to build muscle, you've got to tear your fucking muscle. You've got to tear it. It's deeply painful. If you do a set and you don't have this like painful, terrified look on your face, like, you're probably not gaining that much muscle, honestly. You're probably not training that hard. You've got to push to that level of intensity, and not all the time, but you should have the capability to go to like a 9 out of 10, maybe a 10 out of 10, and then maybe taper it down for most of your sets. Do a 7.5 or an 8. Never under a 7, for example. But a lot of guys, you want to know why you're probably not building muscle. Honestly, and you won't like to hear this. No man would ever want to hear this, bro. You're probably training like a little bitch. You're probably training like a pussy. You're probably training at about a 4 out of 10 intensity, which you call more like an 8, but it's a 4. Now, if you're so certain I'm not talking about you, aren't you? You're thinking, oh yeah, he's talking about someone else. How about you try this? How about you go to the gym tomorrow, whatever workout it is, and limit yourself to 1 set. Do that 1 fucking gruntful set. I promise you'll drop it and think, that was actually about an 8. I could have kept that going for another 30 seconds. That would have been a 10 if I kept it going. This was an 8 and it was deeply fucking painful. That means so far, I've probably been doing like 5 out of 10 intensity for all my sets. No wonder I'm struggling with making muscle. Once you do this, you'll also realize that you never needed this much volume to begin with. You know, most workouts do like 15, 20 sets per workout. When you do this and you fucking grunt and you're like, okay, that was an 8, and you want to go for 8 out of 10 intensity per set, you'll realize like, shit, like I probably only need like 5 to 10 sets instead of 20 for my workout. No wonder that you hear those guys who are really good at, you know, like the professional bodybuilders and everything. They train for like 45 minutes. Why? Because their fucking 1 set is worth 5 of ours. You see in videos of Arnold, he's literally making that fucking like triple chin face whilst he's doing chest press. That's how you're supposed to train, right? But at the same time, I don't expect you to totally believe me, because all of those YouTubers who are lying to you, who are scamming you, who are showing you Krispy Kreme donuts, who are telling you to main gain, will also say that this is overtraining. So you can trust them if you want and stay skinny fat forever, or you could try and train like the old school bodybuilders and they'll say, oh, but they're all on steroids. But either way, it's like, if that's the way to train, then we may as well do it. The 5th reason that you're probably not building muscle, you probably would think it's that you're not sleeping enough. Sleep is important for testosterone and muscle, but the truth is that a lot of guys who are jacked actually don't even sleep that well. You know, everyone's going to disagree with this. No, Hamza, sleep is really vital. Hear my argument, right? There's student bodybuilders, you know, guys who are in university, who party, who take drugs, who drink, who go to sleep at like 2 a.m. I was one of them, and still build an okay amount of muscle. Now, yeah, you can say they've got noob gains, but some of them are pretty jacked whilst they're like, you know, you can imagine the college frat boy who's drinking alcohol and going to sleep at like 4 a.m., sleeping for like 3 hours before he needs to wake up, and they're still building some muscle. So I don't think sleep is like as important as we say it is, but there's actually something that I think is more important than that, which is kind of common sense, but it's progressive overload in the right way. Now, to build muscle, what you need to do is take the muscle to failure, and then the muscle gets recovered and it gets stronger. Then the next time you hit the muscle again, you need to take it to failure like you did last time, but then do a bit more because now the muscle is stronger. So this is why you need to like use more weights as time goes on to get the same kind of stimulus. You know, the first time you went to failure on bench press, you may have just used the empty bar for 8 reps, and now to get your chest to failure, you might need to use 60 kilograms or 100 kilograms for 8 reps. But once you get to a certain point, obviously, you know, the gains slow down, the progressive overload slows down, and this is about 1 to 2 to 3 years in for a lot of people. This is when most people's gains slow down, and I realized what I did wrong here. My progressive overload programming, like, you know, how to increase the weight, was just all over the place. I had no system to follow exactly what to do, like no protocol, which meant that it was quite based on my emotions. I'd come in and be like, yeah, I'm gonna do 105 kg this time, and I'd use it for like maybe 4 reps, and it'd be like, yeah, is that progressive overload? My reps went down. Who knows, right? It's just all over the place. So what I've realized, which is common sense for a lot of people, but it wasn't for me, what you need to do to progressively overload is choose the exercise first of all. Let's say flat bench press. Then choose the rep range that you're going to use this exercise for. So for example, you'll choose 10 to 15. If you want to build muscle, 10 to 15 is usually the best. A lot of people say 8 to 12. All of the dickheads who are trying to sell you their strength programs will tell you 5 reps and stuff. That could be number 6. The 6th reason why you're not building muscle is because you're training for strength. If you really want to build muscle, don't do anything underneath 8 reps. And even 8 reps is actually a little bit too heavy. A lot of guys are doing like powerlifting, expecting to look like bodybuilders. If you want to build like a bodybuilder, if you want to build like an attractive aesthetic body, lots of muscle, you need to use like the lower rep range. Oh, but this bodybuilder you used to train his strength too. Okay, but still, if you're focusing on hypertrophy, if you're focusing on muscle gain, not strength, but muscle gain, you want to look good, you need to choose a higher rep range. And even 8 I found is like very heavy, even for compounds, honestly. I found the sweet spot is the 10 to 15 rep range. If you do the 10 to 15, just give it a try and you'll be like, fuck, like I can see the growth a couple of weeks from now. So you've chosen the exercise, you chose the rep range for that exercise. What you do is you first pick a weight that you assume you could probably hit for 15 reps. So this is just to find out what weight to use. Let's say I've taken a lot of time from the gym and I'm like, okay, I could probably comfortably hit 60 kilograms for 15, let's see. So I do 60 kilograms for 15 reps. Yeah, it was pretty good stimulus. I could probably go heavier next time. Then what I do is once I know what I could hit for 15 reps, I then reset back to 10 reps with a heavier weight. So now I'll do 65 kilograms for 10 reps. Yeah, that was kind of easy. Let's do that now next week for 11 reps, 12 reps, 13, 14, 15. And eventually you will get to the point where you're actually being deeply challenged by this rep range. So you've set the weight now based on what you could do anywhere between 10 to 15 reps. And it's just about starting at the lower rep range, building it up to 15, increasing the weight, reducing it back down to 10 reps, going up back up to 15 again, increasing the weight back down to 10 reps, up to 15, boom. What I found is obsessively trying to add more weight to the bar every workout makes your progressive overload go to shit. This is what powerlifters and weightlifters do, and I don't think it's smart. I think the way better thing to progressively overload with is reps. I think it's nice having a quite broad rep range, 10 to 15, and it takes maybe a month to go through the 10 to 15. Sometimes for a lot of people, you know, especially as you get like later on in your training career, it can take months to go from 10 to 15, and then you increase the weight. When you're chasing reps instead of weights, it's actually so much better in my opinion in terms of hypertrophy for muscle building than it is to stay at the exact same rep. Okay, I'm doing 5 reps for every set, and then you're trying to increase the weight slightly. The issue with focusing on extra weight as your progressive overload variable is that you can add the weight and still do the movement, but what you may end up doing is add by 1.25 kg or 2.5 kg, and then you end up just making the movement 0.2 seconds faster, and that helps you a bit. You could end up just taking off a centimeter off the range of motion, and that could help you. When you add weight to the bar, I think that actually makes the progressive overload weird and actually like harder to calculate. I think it's so much better going for reps of a weight that feels quite comfortable to you. Change the reps, not the weight, and when you've hit like the maximum number of reps in this rep range, then increase the weight. One final point I'll give you, so like bonus number 6, the reason why you're not making muscle, which I briefly mentioned, is that you're training for strength instead of muscle. Now you may have seen powerlifter propaganda where they've told you that muscle and strength are correlated, so you may as well train for strength. Correlation does not equal cause. Muscle growth comes from hypertrophic rep range, and yeah, if you train for some strength, you may get some bits of muscle, but if you care mostly or solely for muscle gain, if you want to look good, if you want to look muscular, you need to train in like the muscle building rep range. People say it starts from 8, and it probably does, but 8 still builds like too much strength in my opinion. It's too heavy to maximize your muscle growth. 10 to 15, even for compound lifts, seems the best case scenario. Maybe, just maybe, I wouldn't do 10 to 15 rep range for squats. It's too like cardio, you know, you feel kind of tired and not with your quads. So maybe I'd do like 8 to 10 for squats, for example. But 10 to 15, I have personally found is the absolute sweet spot for most movements to build muscle. The powerlifter propaganda that's out on the internet right now is so rampant. This is like the original like multi-level marketing scam where these fat powerlifters only care about the big 3 lifts, and they'll tell every young guy to lift the big 3 lifts, and they'll ask you like what your 1 rep max is. To look good, to be a bodybuilder, you don't need to know your 1 rep max. You don't need to test it. You don't need to do 3 rep sets. You don't need to do 5x5 starting strength, any bullshit program that's for strength. You need to train for hypertrophy. You need to do 10 to 15 reps, maybe 10 to 20, maybe 15 to 20 for some smaller exercises, and literally just go up the rep range every workout if possible. Scroll down to the description of this video and there's a link to get 7 free workout routines that will make you look good. These have been optimized to actually build a muscle, not strength, and you'll actually look sexy while also the fat powerlifters are complaining and asking you what your 1 rep max is, and you're taking that with them. Fuck it. Click and watch this video right now, do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.